This meeting is being recorded.
Good morning. It's good to see everyone here. Thank you for coming. We'd like to open with the pledge and the prayer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Gracious Lord, as we start this meeting today, we just want to give you thanks and praise you for a country that you've set before us that we can be part of, where we can make decisions and we can agree and disagree and have discussion and be okay with that. We especially thank you for the county that we live in, that we have such tremendous people who live here that are concerned about themselves, their families, and others in the community, that we all work together for the good. We ask you to be with those who are visiting today, those who are traveling through our community, and especially our workers, to keep them safe and strong. We ask you to be with them in Jesus' name. Amen. We'd like to start with the County Veteran Service Officer, Daryl McDowell. Another tremendous candidate today. Oh, yeah.
Okay, good morning, all. First, I get the pleasure for recognizing this month's County Veteran of the Month, Richard Sloan, who was born in Blue River, Kentucky, not a native yet. Well, you'll see he's more than qualified. And one of 10 children. His family moved from Claypool in 1959, to Claypool, sorry. He was drafted by the U.S. Army, drafted being key, in 1969. He attended the basic training at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and AIT, which is Advanced Individual Training, at Fort Polk, Louisiana. Before his deployment to Vietnam with the 199th Infantry Brigade, he later served with the 25th Infantry Division, who I know very fondly, served with them as well. In June of 1970, his company was assigned to Cambodia campaign. Often many do not hear or heard of that before, but yes, we did cross over. And at this point, this is where he was awarded the Purple Heart while in action. Richmond served 2 years in the United States Army and was honorably discharged in August of 1971 with the rank of specialist. During his service, he received the Combat Infantry Badge, Purple Heart with Oak Leaf Cluster, Vietnam Service Medal with 2 Bronze Service Stars, Army Commendation Medal with an Oak Leaf Cluster, Republic of Vietnam Campaign Medal, and the Expert Rifleman's Badge. After proudly serving his country, Richmond returned to Warsaw and worked for 47 years at Kimball Glass in several positions, retiring as a supervisor and consultant in 2017. He married his lovely wife, Avis, in 1983. They have 2 children, Travis and Allison, and 2 grandchildren, Preston and Paxton. Richmond and Avis currently live in Etna Green, Indiana. Please join me with a warm applause for our November Veteran of the Month, Richard Sloan.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, take the opportunity to a small token of the commissioners and the county's recognition of your service to our nation. Thank you very much for it. Kosciuszko County awards the Veteran of the Month to Richard Sloan for recognition of outstanding contribution to his mission of serving the people of the United States and the resident of the Kosciuszko County honorable service as a member of the United States Army.
Like to say a few words? I have it written down. Yeah, thank you. I'd like to thank the county commissioners and Darrell McDowell, the Veterans Service Officer, for this recognition. It was an honor to serve my country, and I feel truly humbled to have been chosen to be here today to accept this acknowledgement. I would also like to take this opportunity to recognize and remember 94 of my comrades of the 5th Battalion, 12th Infantry Division, the 199th Light Infantry Brigade, who died while serving in Vietnam and made the ultimate sacrifice for all of us. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Thanks again. Appreciate it. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you again. Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion for the signing of the claims and minutes.
So moved.
It's
Second.
been moved and second. We will do that after the meeting so we can expedite things a little bit here. Cabs, Tony Peterson with his quarterly invoice.
Morning.
Good morning.
Tony. Today I have the 311 operating expense claim, which ran from July 1st through September 30th, which is 100% federally funded, and the amount of $121,085. No state funds to claim.
How's the ridership been?
Up to about 3,000 average, still about 1,000 to 1,500 short.
A pre-pandemic?
Yep.
Okay, it's coming back though slowly and.
Yep, we're getting there.
You've found drivers now and you're
do, yes,
ready to go.
yes.
What was that number again? 121,
121,085.
085? Okay, very good.
I make a motion to approve.
It's been moved and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Keep up the good work, Tony. Thank you. Yeah.
We got a second, but we didn't vote.
Oh, okay. I guess we have a motion and it's on the floor. We need to vote on the signing of the claims and minutes. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll do that after the meeting. Okay. Any office holder, department head have business with the commissioners this morning? Yep, that's next. Okay. We'd like to call Mike Kissinger, County Surveyor. He has some special business for us this morning.
Morning, Mike.
Thank you.
Morning.
Good morning.
Well, you're welcome.
I hope you don't mind if I turn my back on you. Is
Oh,
that
go
okay?
right ahead, long as you keep the microphone where they can hear you.
Okay, all right, there we go.
Might want to elevate that stand a little bit. It's on the other side. There you go.
There we go. All right.
Thank you, Mike.
This morning, on behalf of the commissioners, the county offices, and the residents of Kosciuszko County, I'd like to congratulate the Kosciuszko County GIS Director, Bill Holder. Bill, can you come here for a second? He loves this. He absolutely loves it.
He's got that shocked look in his face. like a deer in the
Just stand
headlights.
right here with me. How's that? Sorry about this. You can get me later on this, okay?
We got security in the building.
So Bill is a recipient of the highest GIS award given in the state of Indiana. It's called the David C. Ford Award, and it was named after Indiana State Senator, who his area was just south of Fort Wayne, who was a recognized leader and supporter of the GIS technology and legislation within the state of Indiana. Spearheaded by Commissioner Jackson and County Administrator Marcia McSherry, Bill was nominated by his fellow county employees. In selecting Bill, the Indiana Geological Information Council, also known as IGIC, noted the following. What sets Bill apart in his dedication to our field, Bill has worked with the Kosciuszko County Historical Society to map cemeteries and gravestones in Kosciuszko County, and he was actually the president of IGIC in 2008 and 2009. As the IGIC president in 2008, Bill was one of the 5 original signers of a letter requesting data from each Indiana county for the Data Harvest Program, a program that is still very much alive today. So I'll go off script and basically say, if you've never been on the county GIS site, you won't find a finer one in the state of Indiana. The amount of information on there is incredible. And he's the architect of that system. So Bill, on behalf of the residents of Kosciuszko County, the commissioners, and your fellow employees, congratulations.
Job well done, Bill.
Thank you, Mike.
I know we always look at that information, we just touch buttons and it comes up and we never give any real thought to who authors that, and someone has to put that information in there, and it's been virtually flawless, so thank you again. You're welcome. Ed Ormsby, County Attorney.
No public report.
Thank you, sir. County Administrator, Marcia McSherry.
Yes, I have an annual contract renew with Johnson Controls. This is for our planned services. They help us with our controls of the HVAC system, the boilers and everything. So I would recommend approval of that.
Contract.
And what was the total number?
$11,560.
Make a motion to approve.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Marcia. Anything further?
That's all I have. Thank
Very
you.
good. Thank you. County Auditor, Michelle Puckett. Very good. Thank you for all you do. Jody Cox. You ready? Thank you.
Oh, am I supposed to come up yet?
Would you please?
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Here you go. I'll just pass them out. Oh, that's different. That's different. This is yours, I think.
Morning.
Morning.
Go
First
ahead
of
with your
all-
presentation if you would, please.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, I'm Jody Cox, and I am a Warsaw mom, first and foremost. First of all, I'd like to say thank you. I'm thankful that our democracy still gives me this right to make my voice heard to my elected officials. I've handed you my speech and the signatures at last count of nearly 600 people in our community that I am representing here today that have signed this petition in requesting our commissioners to not reappoint Dr. Remington as health officer and find a doctor that better represents our community's values and respects the freedoms that Americans for generations have fought to protect. I would have to say that before the school board meeting about the mask mandates, I couldn't have cared less about who was on either the school board, health board, or even who the commissioners of our county were. I was just running my business and caring for my family and trusting everyone was doing their jobs well. Let me tell you why this is no longer the case. The most recent school board meeting concerning the mask mandate was abhorring to me. The school board works for parents and to protect the well-being of our children. Our children are not for sale for some compliance of governmental rule. It was very clear the board had already made a decision and the parent meeting was merely a formality. I did not understand fully this attitude until later. We are the parents, the caretakers, the one who care the most for children that you are paid to protect for us, not instead of us. We are to work collectively together, not condescended to or pushed aside. We love our children, our lives revolve around them, and what is best for them. We were up rocking them at night as they were babies, and we are staying up late waiting and worrying for them to come home safely as teenagers, not you. I was disgusted at the entitled empowerment every single one of the school board members displayed in front of the pleading parents to not let the school go against their personal beliefs on what is best for their child. Some of these parents have special needs children. Think of the love, time, finances, and devotion that these parents have poured into their child, and the school board would not even consider their concerns. That was the day that I began caring. You, the health commissioners, commissioners of our county, and the school board members are here because of me, here because I voted for you. You work for me, for all of us. You are not in charge of me. Your job is to protect me, my values, and my children, along with every other person in this community. So instead of just doing my job, I decided to check out what you all do for your job, the job that my taxpayers pay for you, my tax dollars to pay for what you do. This is when I started listening to the county weekly COVID meetings. This is when I learned that Dr. Remington stated that he was proud of Biden's vaccine mandates and was disappointed in Holcomb's refusal to enforce the mandate for Indiana. He touted the efficacy and safety of the vaccine and urged everyone to please be vaccinated. These same meetings, 2 weeks later, Remington says that he has been confronted in grocery stores and church and said he hopes that we can all be friends after this is over, and that the vaccine mandates, except for possible military, would be an overreach. Wait, what? Science changes in just 2 weeks? Or will our county be ruled by one man's changing interpretation of science depending on what his friends think? He then states that he would be remiss if he didn't address the fact that Nordic nations have stopped vaccinations with men and boys because of myocarditis complications. Wait again, what? Vaccines are not perfectly safe anymore and should not be taken without hesitation? Scientific facts have changed again in those 2 short weeks. Yes, actually, that's what science is. It follows the facts and results of action. That's why science does change and changes often. To mandate an unproven vaccine is irresponsible. The present facts and developing information that should be made public so that people can make informed decisions and weigh their own risk in health decisions for themselves and their children with a trusted doctor. When Dr. Remington was informed that non-complying schools were no worse off than WCHS, there was no shift in thought, but a declaration from Remington. Why take the foot off the gas now? Keep pushing the agenda harder. That, my friends, is not science. That is ignoring science. The hot mic session is where it gets interesting. The session where Remington stated that he has emailed Hoffert information that he has searched for and found some new scientific data that could back up whatever the school wanted to do as far as the mask mandate. He questioned the mayor and the commissioners, why pull back mandates now that the school has already taken a hit from the parents? To quote Remington exactly, he refers to us as non-compliant parents who need to get out of the way so their children will fall in line. This line of reasoning is the reason why we should never release a freedom, because it is harder to take that freedom back once you have let it go. Our fear was that the mask mandate was about power and control. This fear was confirmed in the hot mic session. It is obviously not about health and safety, as all sporting events require no masks. Board members that don N95 masks sitting 8 feet apart at the board meeting were seen 3 days later jammed into packed stadiums with their families without the protective masks on. Makes you think that mask wearing was nothing more than a prop for a predetermined narrative for that meeting. Propaganda? You decide. These masks that the children are forced to wear are thrown into bags, dropped on floors, lunch tables, bathroom stalls, picked up from car floors and worn day after day. What is the efficacy of a filthy 3-day-old mask, Dr. Remington? What are the detrimental effects of a 3rd-grade boy that dropped his mask under the urinal and then forced to put it on his face all day, thrown in a bag, worn again the next day to repeat? Don't care? I didn't think so. Because I didn't have a job that taxpayers are paying for, I have not had the time to file a FOIA for those emails between the health officer and the superintendent to see the calculated playbook that Remington proudly spoke of, but trust that I will. Little more research also finds out that Heather Reckenbaugh, who is on the school board's husband, Dr. Reckenbaugh, conveniently is also on the health department board and would have already advised her of the health board decision. For anyone interested, Dr. Reckenbaugh will also be up for re-election in December. So minds and chess pieces were already played before the concerned parents came to address the board with health concerns for their children. Then to find out that Superintendent David Hoffert, who portrayed the position that he had no option but to follow the health department guidelines, is not just the superintendent of our school, but a voting board member of the health department, who would have voted for this line of defense of mask mandates already himself at an earlier date. See him or any other school or health department board member at a packed football game, grocery store, church, barbershop, the gym, bank, parties, and restaurants. They won't be wearing a mask. He and the health department will, however, require children, the least affected subgroup of our community, to be wearing them all day without even an allowed medical circumstance, or they will pay with suspension. Don't send your child to school because you will not comply with unsubstantiated health safety measures, and parents will pay with a visit from a police officer and a truancy violation. Remember, masks are just the violation today. Vaccines will be for tomorrow. The fact is, WCHS did have a choice, and all the other local schools didn't follow the mandate, and no one was thrown in jail as threatened at the school board meeting. It was also confirmed in the hot mic session that all other non-compliant schools were no better or worse off than WCHS. Our kids are still in masks. At the beginning of the year, once again, we were told it was just for 2 weeks. Why fight it? Masks are one thing, but according to national news, vaccines is the next battle for parents to fight for their children. Remington has made his thoughts and medical opinion clear. He is all for vaccine mandates. So that's next. Our children are vaccinated or no school, no sports, no interaction with other kids. The separation of the vaccinated and unvaccinated begins. Is this where we are all comfortable for our community to divide? Our neighbors, classmates, and teammates become our feared enemies? This line of reasoning comes from our trusted medical officers. It is clear Remington will follow this path, and that makes me sad. Sad, but also incompetent to give an unknown vaccine that has already been shown, not by cities, but nations, that are producing negative effects for the younger generation and are banning them. To submit such a vaccine to a subgroup that are hardly even affected seems irresponsible and reckless. My daughter had it and conquered it easier than a cold. If you think the mask mandate was bad, wait until you force parents to inject their perfectly healthy children with an untrusted vaccine. The thing that is wrong with government, both national and local, is the lack of trust. Backdoor meetings and arrangements to press through personal agendas, much like the hot mic session recorded, is why we don't trust. The thing that is different in the public response now is that you are affecting my children, and now parents are actually paying attention. Trust me, I care about my child's health and well-being much more than any of you. I could have cared less about politics until now, but trust me, I will go and speak at uncomfortable venues and watch your boring meetings and fight for our children and our rights harder and longer than you ever gave parents credit for. I now call for the resignation of Dr. Remington because of the way he has handled the COVID response. He has no right to manipulate the color of our county going against state guidelines to pursue his own agenda, or lie to parents and change the goalposts of previously stated guidelines to keep his control. I am not anti-science or anti-doctor. I am just against this one. There are at least 2 other local doctors that are willing and qualified to take over with accredited qualifications of science as doctors that disagree with Remington. We need a leader who, when presented with new data, can use his expertise and education to weigh all options that protect both health and our freedoms, who can present all the facts to the public. A leader that we can trust is still hopefully possible in this day and age. There is a local doctor that publicly wrote his opinion of Remington's way of handling COVID in a letter to the editor on Ink-Free. His educated opinion was also with a respected and accredited doctorate degree. I ask the commissioners if we want a health officer that is nothing more than a voice box of the government who will always lean towards the experts of federal government as making the final decision on what is safest for our children. After all, these are supposed to be the smartest men in the world studying to find out what is best for them, and they should know what's best, right? Let me read to you a quote from an FDA member in a news article I read November 1st, 2021. Dr. Eric Rubin, an advisory committee member of the FDA, said this about the COVID vaccine in children 5 to 11 during an official FDA hearing. We were never going to learn about how safe the vaccine is until we start giving it. That's just the way it goes. I personally don't want a doctor to do what's best for the government most recent agenda, but for me and my children first. Our community deserves the same. The board intertwined with the school board and the health department to take complete control over what they think that our children should do for their health, and parents are just to sit back and release control to perfect strangers that see our children as just a number on a report to give stats to the state, was a serious lack of insight. In conclusion, just a reminder to both school and health department board members who think that they care about my children's health more than their own mother, I'll be sure to call each and every one of you each time my child comes home crying over hurt feelings, skinned knees, broken bones, and sick, sleepless, feverish nights. We are not paid by taxpayers for these services that we give to them. We do it out of love. It is because of this unquestioned love for my children and this community that I am here speaking with you all here today. I'm asking my commissioners, please, continue in keeping Warsaw the community that I love and am so proud of, and please consider other doctors that I know are here in this community that are willing and respect science, respect parents, and learn from the continuing facts that are being presented. Work with us. We are all in this together. News media is beginning to classify parents that have been silent up until very recently and are seeing how government and local officials have been taking control of our children and our liberties, and who are now very much awake and fighting as the Mama and Papa Bear movement. The entitlement of the school board and the arrogant, unchecked power of our health officer, Dr. Remington, has made me stand up for my child, for my community, and for my nation. Trust me, board members, you just poked this bear. Consider that unprecedented times breeds unprecedented leaders. I thank you, commissioners, for your time and consideration of my thoughts.
Thank you, Jody. It's obvious it's a passion that you have, and we appreciate that. We especially are thankful that we're able to allow this type of discussion back and forth, this kind of information to come forward. It's obvious there's a lot of interest in this topic, and we will take your information and look at your signatures on your petition and take this seriously and take it under advisement. Thank you. County Highway, Steve Moriarty. There's a lot of information there.
Good morning.
Good morning, Steve.
Before we open our annual bids, I'd like to ask for a financial commitment. And what this is that I'd like to apply for a grant, and it's not till 2027, and it's for Bridge 123. And what this grant is that 80% will be paid by a federal grant and 20% will be paid by the locals. This gives us an opportunity to apply and build these bridges that we need so desperately. The amount that we're asking for federal funds would be $1.7 million, and the local match would be $447,000.
Okay. And that's the bridge over Cherry Creek on Packerton Road?
Yes,
Is that
sir.
the one? Okay.
I'd make a motion to approve an application for the grant.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Steve.
Good, thank you.
And that'll take place
2027.
2027.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we need to plan far into the future, so.
I was hoping to speak alongside Jody.
Pardon me,
If that
there's
would
a
be
place on the agenda for any further discussion, so we'll take that up at that time, please.
Okay.
Thank you. At the bottom of the agenda, there's a place for any further business to come before the commissioners, and if you have comment, we'll do that then. Thank you for asking, I appreciate that. We do this annually. We open bids for materials for the county highway, for snow plowing and trucks and fuel and gravel and stone and culverts and everything it takes to run the county highway. So today's the day for that. So if you wait patiently, we'll be through that just shortly.
Sorry, I'm hurrying. Just try with the meeting. I can't find where it's at. I'm trying to find it. I can't find it. Be here all day. We'll wait on it. Did you open this one?
Yeah.
They're all open. I'm trying to pull them out of it.
This is embarrassing. Thank you. Okay, good. We'll go through these, and what we'll do is we'll just read one line item from each thing. So this is Niblock, HBA base, type A, B, and C is $53 a ton. This is going to be Niblock again. This is for type C surface, or for type A and B surface. This is delivered, and it's going to be $73 a ton. This is for Speedway sand and gravel. And this is going to be a unit price for fill gravel. It's going to be $6 a ton. Ransbottom Excavating, and it's going to be limestone. 73 limestone is going to be $16.75 a ton. This is for Premco, and this is deck length, 18 by 19, $3,735.60. Thank you. This is from Finn and Brown, HMA base, 20 millimeters, type A, delivered is $68 a ton. IMI Corporation, so this would be 53's state would be $13.70 per ton. That's gravel. This is for Finn and Brown, crushed limestone. Number 73's is $22.50 a ton. American Timber Bridge, treated lumber bridge planking is $4,250. This is for Dalton Group for weed spraying, 70 cents per gallon. This is gonna be the levy group, and this is gonna be slag, and it's $6.73 per ton. I gave you, yeah. This is from Finn and Brown, intermediate 19 intermediate. Millimeter would be $54 per ton, the type A. Limler oil, on-road diesel products would be $2.99 per gallon. Central paving, implant, patch, from Logan Sport will be $93 per ton. Bold patch. This is Hanson Aggregates, size 73, limestone. It's going to be $8.85 per ton. Great Lakes Chloride, and this is going to be for calcium, 42% resolution solution delivered and applied is going to be $1.40 per gallon, 04 per gallon, sorry. Gotcha. Civilcon 16 gauge, size 15 inch. It's going to be $24.75 per foot. Osborne's and Associates signs, a 24 by 24 sign. Looks like it's going to be about $26 per sheet. Bellman Oil, on-road diesel fuel is going to be $2.47 per gallon. Kern Trucking for limestone delivered to the Kosciuszko County Highway Garage. Number 73 commercial will be $17.25 per ton. put in for it. Just give me a price. Debco metal culverts. Aluminum box inventory, would be for a, HS 25 load rating. And that's gonna be with the head wall and everything's $3,357.89. Thanks, buddy. Petroleum traders, low sulfur diesel fuel, is gonna be $2.32, a gallon. Get in there. Go with this. Okay. Do I have to read both of them or just one?
They came in the same
Same
envelope.
thing, okay. Find the price sheet, so I got it. It's gonna be St. Regis Culverts. And they put in a bid for, small structure, but they did it by percentage of cost, which is, 0.05, percentage, per total cost. Kick them out later.
Yeah.
Good. Brooks Construction, type A, 25 millimeter, $47 per ton. Finn and Brown, this is mixing HMA, plant rental is gonna be $33 per ton.
Doing good, Steve. You're keeping up to my anticipated pace.
I'm trying.
This is Stealth Products, but they did not submit a price.
That we can shop.
Okay.
So we'll look at it.
Stella Products submitted, but did not submit a price sheet for signs. Elkhart County gravel, 53 commercial gravel, FOB would be $10 a ton.
We kept a pretty good pace.
Serious Solution, 1 gallon of on-road diesel, $2.54 per gallon. Pierce Trucking, AE90, $492.55 per ton. So I would make a recommendation that we take these under advisement in 2 weeks. We'll bring back, make sure everybody's followed the rules and ask that we accept them for our bids for 2022.
Okay,
Thank you.
And we'll be back after the meeting and we'll meet in the back room so that they can go through these like normal. Thank
If you're
you.
here and you're a bidder and you'd like to go through these, they'll be available in the back room back here in the corner afterwards. We need a vote for that? No. Take that under advisement. Okay. The highway department will take these bids under advisement and come back with a recommendation in 2 weeks. That'd be November 23rd at our commissioners meeting. Any further business to come before the commissioners today? Okay, we would ask that if your comments are the same as presented earlier, that you keep those to a minimum, please. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Katrina Lewis, and
Welcome.
hello. I'm here to object to Dr. Remington's reappointment as the health officer and to the masking and consequential abuse of my children at the hands of the Warsaw Community Schools. My kids are 9 and 7 and attend Lincoln Elementary. Dr. Remington hopes to perpetually mask my kids against my parental authority, against my constitutional rights, and against my religious exemptions. My children's faces are covered in rashes that developed after wearing these masks day after day. I've had them to see our family doctor because of the rashes and chronic sore throats. This proved meaningless to the henchmen that play doctor at the school. Their solution was to put them in plastic face shields that aren't even recommended by the CDC. Otherwise, the school officers offered to put them in plastic boxes. All of this is the very definition of abuse. So I have brought 4 studies from the National Institute of Health. The first one's titled, Adolescents Face Mask Usage and Contact Transmission in Novel Coronavirus. Quote, face mask surfaces can become contamination sources. People are storing them in their pockets, bags, putting them on tables. People are reusing them, etc. End quote. The governor and our school board, at the recommendation of Dr. Remington, are asking elementary-age children to manage a mask. Most of these children do not understand why they are being made to do so, nor are they able to maintain a clean mask. In fact, they are told to wipe them out if they sneeze in them and put them back on. Fun fact, at the onset of the pandemic, CNN said that masks actually increase your risk of COVID-19 on March 2nd, 2020, before they were paid to say what the Democrats and drug companies wanted them to say. Study number 2 is titled, A Cluster Randomized Trial of Cloth Masks Compared with Medical Masks in Healthcare Workers. Quote, penetration of cloth masks by influenza particles was almost 97%, end quote. So this is real science, not the garbage that is being created to suit the narrative. To purport that masks as a medical device that can protect against a disease is fraud and goes against the FTC and U.S. code. As the woman stated during the hot mic incident, there are no differences between the positive COVID cases in Warsaw compared to the surrounding unmasked schools. And finally, we get some real science. The study number 3 is titled Preliminary Report on Surgical Mask-Induced Deoxygenation During Major Surgery. The quote, face mask side effects include lower oxygen levels. The study proved that surgeons that wore a mask in surgery for an hour plus had significant reduction in blood oxygen saturation. Considering our finding, pulse rates of the surgeons increase and oxygen decreases after the first hour, end quote. So, reducing a child's oxygen for over 6 hours a day will cause brain damage that is irreversible. The medical masks being forced on our children were designed for surgery. They were also to be worn for a single procedure and discarded. Also, there are other studies that show that these medical-grade masks contain lead, formaldehyde, and other chemicals that cause cancer, brain damage, and lung damage. If you haven't researched this, you should. The 4th and last study is called Adverse Skin Reactions of Healthcare Workers Using Personal Protective Equipment for COVID-19. Quote, face mask side effects include adverse skin reactions, end quote. Masks are causing antibiotic-resistant bacteria to grow on the faces of children and young people. Additionally, there is a new adverse health issue occurring because of wearing masks in a harmful, unintended way. The dentists from One Manhattan Dental first noted the increase in gum inflammation and cavities in their patients, and they named their findings mask mouth, after meth mouth. Dr. Mark Schiaffoni says gum disease will eventually lead to strokes and an increased risk of heart attacks. So in conclusion, Dr. Remington has acted against the public, against the children, and against his oath to practice careful, diligent medicine. Masking children goes against the Hippocratic oath to do no harm. He should no longer hold the office, quite frankly, his license. To all the patriots standing against the tyranny, don't give up. We're on the right side of this.
Very
That's
good.
all.
Thank you for your comments. Here's your name, please.
Hi, Dr. Chris McGarrett from Warsaw, Indiana. Keep my comments brief.
Thank you.
First of all, it is known that medical care is the keystone to liberty. It is also the keystone to oppression and tyranny. The second point is that while we hear many issues discussed here, you must realize that the issue is never the issue. The issue is always the revolution of the globalist, collectivist cabal. The third point would be that when a person opposes liberty, they do it for one or more of three basic reasons. And we can trace this analysis back to founder James Otis Jr., who in 1761 said that men oppose liberty for three basic reasons: guilt, malice, or folly. But if I translate that into modern American English, it comes down to pragmatism, malice, or ignorance of the principles of liberty. So whenever you confront an office holder or government official, you should always look at them and say, what is it? What is your motivation? Pragmatism, malice, or ignorance? And last of all, every government official or someone who makes rules should keep in mind that there's what I call the three-question rule, and that person should ask themselves about any rule, ordinance, or law. Number one, is it constitutional? If it's not, it goes in the wastebasket. It has to be in this order. Number one, is it constitutional? Number two, can we afford it? And number three, do we need it? In that order. That's all. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you for your... Thank you for your comments. Please state your name, please.
Brad Skiles from Warsaw.
Good morning, Brad.
First, thank you guys for your commitment to the Constitution. I appreciate what you've been doing.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to tell my story. I have no children. My wife and I have no children. I'm very much in agreement with what I heard about the school. But in March of 2020, when I first saw the White House press conference on COVID, huge red flag came up. When our vice president and the medical people said the best thing you could do at that time was wash your hands, I thought, that's crazy. The best thing we could do is build our immune system. So I have no medical degree. I just have common sense. But I have repeatedly heard the DC swamp tell us what to do, and what they're not telling us to do is to build our immune system. So when I had COVID at the beginning of this year, I got a text from Indiana Department of Health. So I called them and I said, hey, you got your text, I have COVID. Can you provide me a list of doctors in Warsaw that prescribe hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin? And the person on the other side said, no, we don't do that. I said, okay, I've read your email. I know I'm supposed to isolate myself and wash my hands. Is there something else on your website that would tell me how to get better? Like, what am I supposed to do to actually get over this? And they said, no, we don't do that. So then I looked at our county's health website, pressed the buttons, was referred to the state health department. Then I got my phone book, maybe it was Google, and I called MedStat. found out that I got transferred to Lutheran, went through their COVID hotline, and when I talked to a real person, I said, I've been diagnosed with COVID, just want to know, do your doctors prescribe or use hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin? And the lady said, no, I can't tell you that. I'm not a doctor. I said, well, I just want to know if I go to urgent care, am I going to talk to somebody who actually prescribes that? And she said, no, I can't tell you that. So then I called Physicians Urgent Care. And somehow I probably said in the very beginning, I said, I just got off the phone with Lutheran Hospital. They wouldn't tell me this. And she said, well, what did they tell you? I said, well, she said she couldn't tell me. And so this lady actually was very nice. And she said, well, I can't believe that there's anybody there that would use hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin. She said, we don't. I don't know anybody that would. She says, I don't think it's allowed. And so I got the answer that I was looking for. I also know from a medical professional with IU Medical Center that they share the same idea. I know our governor has squelched the use of hydroxychloroquine. And so what does this have to do with Remington? I think it has a lot to do with our county. I would expect our county to think independently, to not simply be a puppet for our state health department, which in my opinion is a puppet of what the DC swamp wants our state to say to people. Okay, so just to bring it current, 2 weeks ago, actually it wasn't 2 weeks ago, last week, I was with a friend who I learned was in the hospital beginning of October, almost died. This is a 40-some-year-old woman who has no comorbidities, very healthy, got COVID. A friend got her ivermectin from a veterinary, a supply store. So she's taking it, which tells me it is available. It should have been something that she should have had in a pill format for humans. I've known 2 people that have had to go and buy it from a horse product and take it. This person ends up in the hospital, KCH, with pneumonia. And so she tells me they gave her C, D3, zinc, and rivasomir. There's several studies to show rivasomir is not a good product used with COVID. But what I'm listening for is she was not able at KCH to get ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine. And the leading US doctor from New York who discovered the use of hydroxychloroquine, he says it's like a bazooka, that zinc is the bullet and ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine are the bazookas that open the cell and allow the zinc to go in. So this is just hearsay, not a medical person, but I'm sitting here thinking, what have we learned in 2 years? And in Indiana medical systems apparently has not learned much at all. Because if they're giving somebody zinc without giving the bazooka that allows the zinc to get into the cell, they're completely clueless. I have a friend whose sister-in-law was also 40 in Ohio, died this summer with COVID. And her doctor prescribed hydroxychloroquine. And that was it. So here's a lady who hears hydroxychloroquine must be good. Her doctor hears it must be good. He prescribes hydroxychloroquine, doesn't prescribe Z-Pak, zinc, D3. And the woman who was apparently, from my friend's word, healthy, no comorbidities, died because in Ohio, they don't know what to do. And from people I've talked to who are health professionals, it seems like we're treating, well, I should say it this way, we're not treating the sickness. The advice we're getting, even here in town, go home, see if it gets worse. If it does, maybe you can come back to the hospital. That's not much of a solution. So I blame our health department, I blame Dr. Remington for not being a critical thinker and evaluating what is working. There's many studies, peer-reviewed studies, that are showing today what works to cure COVID. And that's not what we're hearing in Indiana, and we should be hearing it in our county. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Linda Kitch. I'm from Warsaw.
Hi, Linda.
I agree with everything that's been stated, and I thought Jody's speech was fantastic. I can't add anything to that. But at the end of the day, this comes down to freedom. This is about freedom.
I agree.
You know, you have the right, if you want to send your kid to school with a mask, do it. But if you as a parent don't think that's what's best for your child, that's your right to. This is about freedom. This is about liberty. This is about taking back our country, and it starts at the local level. And you're our elected officials. That's why we're here, because we're desperate, and we know that you depend on us for votes. So we're hoping that you are, hearing what we're saying. I think the question I have for you guys is, you said you'll take this under advisement. I think we want to know what that means, or we're going to be calling you guys every day. What's this process look like from here on out? How does this work? And what is taking advisement under, what does that mean? We want action. We want something done. And you can see a full courthouse, and you can see standing ovations. And I know you've heard us,
Want to handle that?
but tell us, what do we expect from now here to see going forward? Or we're going to all be calling you every day, what's the progress, what's going on? So, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd like to interject something here.
Thank you, Linda.
Just one second, that's okay. First of all, I am definitely a hardcore conservative. I'm a patriot to the core. I agree. I'm not going to say I agree with everything that was said because I want to be wrong and have missed something, but I can't think of anything I've heard today said that I disagree with. I think we're all on the same page. What I don't want to see is I want to look, so what it means to me to look into it is to talk more with Dr. Remington, to investigate more, find out where he really is, because I also don't want to just have a mob mentality where we just lynch a person and feel good about it, but we didn't accomplish anything. That's where I'm at. So I'm just being honest with you. But I totally agree, mask, my grandkids go to Wawasee. If they had masks, I'd be in there every day throwing it, same thing. I totally disagree with it. It's against our freedom. I agree with everything you're saying. So, go ahead.
My name is K.T. Kishan. I'm a retired surgeon. I practiced here almost close to 40 years. I had the privilege of enjoying this community. It's so helpful. And I learned a lot of things over the period of time. I'm not here to defend my colleague, Dr. Remington. Here. Please be there. I am not here for a mandate, absolutely not. But I do have to express certain things because I come from a medical background. First thing I want to talk about is the COVID situation itself. You all know all about it. I don't want to repeat this one. That came as the medical community caught off guard, and we don't know what to do all those things because people were dying. This is not just the flu. This is pretty serious. This is not just Warsaw. This is not United States. This is all over the world. We're talking about people dying on the street. We heard about it. So we need to take this condition serious. What we can offer, medical community, we don't know anything much about it. Even now, medical community doesn't know much about it. We claim it. We have all kinds of studies. We still don't know. Let's face it, okay? The least thing we can come up with is social distance and the mask.
Can you make sure you're speaking a little closer to the mic so everybody can hear you?
Can you hear me? Okay,
you can even pick it up and hold it if you want.
Oh, okay. Okay. Is it all right?
Yeah, you can pick it. Pick it up.
I'm sorry. Even though my fear.
Dr. Kishan.
So the medical community,
Just pick up the mic, 'cause you
Okay.
keep turning
The
around.
medical community has to have come up with something. I'm just telling you, there's the only thing we came up with, at least we knew this is the spread, this virus spreads by, airborne, whatever it is, particles. That's the main reason we came up with all these things. And now we are learning all these things, how, social distance, come on, it doesn't work really. We have a problem with that kind of things. We are social animals. And the mask, we talked about it. People, it is not the question, don't blame the mask. Let me tell you that one thing about the mask. I was a surgeon. I wore mask every day. Why did I wear the mask? Is it to help myself? Mask is not for me, for you, for the other person. Because we don't know anytime we cough or sneeze, whatever it is, we don't want our little particles to that one. It's very simple as that. That is the basic thing about a mask. But you know what? There are people came up with all the studies. Oh, mask is not going to prevent infection. Yeah, there are a lot of studies that are there. But one thing I need to tell you something very interesting. No one can prove that a mask is going to be absolutely or 100% effective. Right? Very good, right?
You need to keep the mic with you.
I'm getting carried away. That's my problem.
That's good right there, KT. That's good.
Masks, you know that, there is no study has proved absolutely 100% it's going to be effective. Matter of fact, recently I found a surgical article that found surgeons wearing masks make some difference. It may not be 100% again. So that means you're going to tell all the surgeons to stop wearing the mask? The author of the thing, finally he decided, you know what, the other flip side, we have to always look at the other side. No mask has proved not going to, it's not ineffective. It's not something, it's also, we don't know. It's a very common sense. When you cough or sneeze, what do? You always try to protect, right? There has to be some kind of barrier. That's a basic thing. So it's not that, I understand the situation of the, mask. We all have the freedom to do that. I don't deny that one. I think we have. But the problem is the freedom comes with the responsibility. I read the whole Bill of Rights. Very interestingly, the founding fathers missed the one important word. You know what it is? The responsibility. Because we know the Judeo-Christian community, we know what is responsible. We know what is good for the community. We need to be proactive. That's the whole point. Many times I see that we lack the responsibility. We always talk about the freedom in this country. This is extremely important. We need to talk. I know the masks are not. The vaccines are questionable. These are all, the other thing I want to talk about is medical person, any doctor you go, he will never say cure or guarantee. I may operate on a patient, he may drop dead. I don't know. It can happen. So the thing is, everything is a risk and the benefit ratio. The science is all about right. There is no such thing as proof in science. It's only evidence. It gives us strong evidence, how much evidence you can have. That's about it. Anything in life is all about evidence. We're looking at the proof. There is no such thing as proof in this world. It's only evidence. So we have to look at the risk of the best. Wearing mask, wearing their qualities. It is up to you to decide, not the authority, not Dr. Remington, not somebody else. It is, matter of fact, it is simpler to use a mandate. Mandate is very easy. I can force laws. Is it going to change? Anybody going to change? No, we're not going to change. It has to come from inside you. That is a biblical principle, matter of fact. No external law is going to force us. It has to come new. The problem, we need to be educated. This is United States of America. We are highly civilized. The Western civilization. We have a knowledge. The science, because the Western thing, we have a science. If you go to Africa, they practice voodoo medicine. I know I talked about hydrochlorothiazide and all that. We don't know all about it. It's possible it may affect, but we have to look at some kind of a statistical data. I understand statistical data can be manipulated. I understand that one, yeah. But still, from a scientific mind, we need to look at the evidence. Without evidence, there is nothing. This is the bond. So we need to look at the risk and risk. That is the whole point I'm talking about it. I think we do have the freedom. We need to respect that one. And I think the one thing that really bothered me about this petition thing about it is, if we had to talk about the issues, not about a person. I know I can't overguess what Dr. Remington said, whatever it is. But we cannot denigrate or demonize a person. That's not Christian principle. No. We can come up with the issue. We talk about it. We discuss about it. Yeah, we don't like mandate. Yes, let's do that. We talk about why the kids have to wear a mask, why have to wash his hand. We need to educate. Yeah, one other thing I need to mention. Unfortunately, I have to take I feel bad, but that is the medical community has not done a good job in educating people. They should have put on the billboard. They should have educated the public. They should have gone and the TV, whatever it is. We put Dr. Fauci in the front. That's all. As the front leader. It is bad. We never done a good job. The medical community is sitting back, doing nothing. So we have to depend on a solid scientific data. I know sometimes it is not. Again, I am not telling you it is not a proof. It is only evidence. We have more evidence, more it is. But it is you decide, not Remington, not authorities, not even board. Finally, it is you. It falls on you. That is what I'm about to bring. Thank you for the opportunity to talk to you.
Thank you, Dr. Kashan. You don't want the responsibility.
Good morning. My name is Terry Wood from Warsaw, and I want to say thank you, Jody, for speaking on behalf of the 600 people who did sign the petition. But there's a couple things that I would like to ask this morning as an appeal. I've tried to train my children. You never approach an adult demanding to be heard. You always appeal to understand. So my purpose for coming to the mic this morning is to appeal to understand. I heard earlier someone spoke mentioning about that members of the health board and members of the school board living under the same roof, married to one another. Typically speaking, how is a person on the health board able to have a speaking voice that would directly affect a policy and put into effect for someone who serves on a school board? It gives the appearance that there could be a conflict of interest there. I'm not saying that there is. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm asking questions. So we have two of those situations. We have a superintendent who serves on the health board with a vote. And it is my understanding that they already took a vote, right, to retain Dr. Remington. What was that? I didn't get the number. I don't get the Times Union, and I don't have a television. So if someone could inform me what the vote was in regard to the acceptance. Does anybody know that?
To answer your question directly, I don't know that we know what that vote was, because it was their meeting and their conversations and their input.
So it came out in favor of retaining Dr. Remington?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the question that I would have as it pertains to that, we have a superintendent of our schools that sits on that health board with a voice that is voting for a policy that actually will affect his position. Once again, I just draw the question of, could that be seen as a conflict of interest? The only caveat of correction that I would add to Dr. K, I agree, the word responsibility does not appear in the Constitution. However, the founding fathers who wrote our Constitution wrote it with such language that the word responsibility would be encapsulated in the word duty. That word duty in today's day and age does not exist according to the way that it was used by the founding fathers in the construction of the Constitution. So just an FYI, yes, there is nothing about responsibility in the Constitution. However, every one of us who live under the benefits and the freedoms and the liberty of the Constitution have a duty, which would include responsibility. I was one of the parents that did speak out at the school board a while back in regard to recognizing that my governor, my health board, my school board does not have the responsibility nor the authority to tell me as a parent what I can and cannot do in the sending of my child to school without a mask. That is beyond their purview of authority. So I'm here to voice as a citizen that I do not have confidence in the retention of Dr. Remington simply from the standpoint with the hot mic incident. If we understand correctly, what was heard was scrubbed. If there's nothing to hide and nothing indemnifying against that person, then why would the hot mic incident have been scrubbed by the IT department in our county? Once again, these are just questions that I'm raising.
That's not the county.
It was city.
Oh, the city? Okay, well, for some reason, well, as parents, all we're asking for is full transparency. If we have to provide full transparency of why we do what we do, then we think it would be incumbent duty, not responsibility, but duty on behalf of appointed officials as well as elected officials to equally respect that we get full transparency. And I would voice my concern in that I don't feel like I'm hearing full transparency in regard to these types of issues. So I just wanted to voice this morning that I do not have confidence in the retention simply from the standpoint that the comments that were made, Scripture tells me that out of the heart, out of the mouth flows the heart. And I understand if there's stress, there's duress, there's all kinds of mitigating factors of why we say things. Words mean something. And when we speak them, we need to think about what we say. The ramifications of those words can come back to nip us in the backside. However, I don't think it's plausible to accept somebody saying, I'm under stress, I'm under duress, I'm just under too much, simply from the standpoint of the comments that were made. If there was indeed a comment, I thought I heard a quote in Jody's letter that based on, after my discussion with the superintendent and a principal, that it was only going to be 2 weeks, and if they had 2 weeks of yellow, they were going to remove the mask. Well, here we are, folks. We're 10 weeks, almost 12 weeks into the school year, and our children are still masked. With those comments came the manipulation, perhaps. That word I have trouble with. I mean, that's very daunting to think that we have appointed officials in our community that will use that type of language. And as parents, I believe that we deserve the right to understand what that language means. So I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for your stand of the Constitution, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Please give us your name and.
Hi, I'm Katie Fussell. I'm a
Katie.
mom of 5 kids, and I went to the school board meeting as well and spoke against the mask mandate. And that's part of the reason that I'm here today. And the other part is to also ask you to, again, consider not re-recommending Dr. Remington as our county health officer, mainly because, like so many have stated here, we have lost confidence, we have lost faith in our government, and quite frankly in science as well. I think nowadays it's so easy to go on the internet and find whatever article sways to your opinion. And unfortunately, I think the government has used that to their favor. So I think so many people have come here today because we still have confidence in our local government, or at least we still hope to have confidence in our local government. And we hope that you guys will do right by us, your constituents here, by hearing us, unlike the school board at the school board meeting almost 2 months ago. Our government created this constitution based on our freedoms and inalienable rights as human beings, not fear. Fear has been the #1 symptom of this pandemic. I understand this pandemic is real. I also had COVID a year ago. Actually, a year ago today, I was quarantined with all 5 of my children while my husband flew on the other side of the world. He's a cargo pilot. He flies into Wuhan, China itself, and he is yet to become get COVID-19, ironically. Also, ironically, he's flown many PPE items from Wuhan, China itself, which is not surprising to me, but maybe to other people. Fear has dictated the decisions of our government and our leaders for too long. Fear is also a symptom, my number one symptom that I had when I had COVID. And you know what they told me? Good luck. I said, what can I do? What can I take? And they said quarantine and good luck. I didn't even receive a call from the health department when I had COVID-19. However, fear does not come from God, and the Constitution that our founders wrote for this country were all Christian leaders. They all were God-given men. They were all God-fearing men. And I think that's why they wrote the Constitution the way that they did, because they knew that the powers that be, our leaders, could inflict so much fear into our people that we would bow down to them. We would say, yes, we'll do it. Just tell us what to do. And that's what's happened over the last 2 years. And so our hope in being here today is that you guys will hear us. You guys will not be led to make a decision based on fear, but leave the body autonomy choices to the parents of this community for the children in school regarding the mask and vaccine mandate, and in addition to any kind of vaccine mandates that may be coming in our future, as we're seeing around the country right now. When we lose that body autonomy, we've lost everything. And I think you as leaders, I hope, would understand that as well. My final comment to this is to Dr. Kishan's comment about responsibility. I agree that we are all responsible citizens here. And I think in order to be well-meaning members of the society, we all try to do the right thing. However, 41,000 people die a year of secondhand smoke, and we have not taken back cigarettes. We have not banned cigarettes or banned people from smoking them. Maybe in some restaurants, and that's a great thing. I'm sure the numbers were much higher 20 years ago before that was done. However, your health is not my responsibility. My health is my responsibility. My children's health is my responsibility. If it's my responsibility to see that any of you are fit and healthy, then please come join me at the gym. Please, if I see you having a drink or eating McDonald's, allow me to slap that out of your hand. Because if your health is my responsibility, then I will happily do that. However, I will not happily wear a mask that restricts my breathing, or make my children wear a mask that restricts their breathing, or give them a vaccine where we have no idea what the long-term, short-term side effects are. I'm not sure if any of you have read any vaccine inserts, but I became very well-versed in them after I started having children myself, just because I didn't feel it in my gut that it was the right thing to do. And on all of the vaccine inserts, they list death as a possible side effect. And where there is that risk, there has to be a choice. We don't know the implications of long-term mask wearing. Our children have been masked now for a year and a half. And I think, unfortunately, we have started seeing some of those problems coming out with, like they were saying, facial, skin problems, breathing problems, and that's just for kids who are healthy, let alone kids that have any kind of sensory or autoimmune disorders. So, all that to say, I am asking you to please consider not recommending Dr. Remington as the county health advisor, and to look at your options for people that will be less prone to feed on that power and more prone to do what's right based on the constituents' needs, desires, and wants, and basic common sense. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Next.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Bob Weaver. I am an employee of the Health Department. Have been for many, many years. Dr. Remington has been the health officer, for approximately 26 years. And I just wanted it to be made known. It was a little unclear. Somebody could leave here and think that there's been mandates and orders concerning mask wearing. And Dr. Remington, in all those 26 years, has never issued a mandate or an order to oblige someone any type of behavior in any public setting. He's never issued a mandate. And I think that was kind of unclear here this morning, that this man has issued a mandate that my kids must wear a mask to school. That never happened. There's 2 school districts here in the county that are not wearing masks. There's only one, and that wasn't by Dr. Remington's order. I just wanted to make that clear.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Got a quick one. Matt Dick, I live south of town. This might be a question for the county attorney. Has there been any thought, and maybe this is a state level question, to moving this to an elected position? Because it's an appointed position, correct?
Yes.
Has there been any thought to moving it to an elected position with the amount of power and responsibility that the county health commissioner has?
Yeah, it's the state that dictates that. And what we're dealing with now is a new law. It was Senate Bill 5. That was the law that was passed by the legislature, vetoed by the governor, and then the legislature overrode that veto. And so this is a new procedure for all the counties across Indiana. What it used to be is the county commissioners would appoint the Board of Health members, and then the Board of Health would select the public health officer. And the commissioners didn't have anything to do with that. What the new law provides is that the Board of Health still appoints the new health officer for a term of 4 years, but the commissioners are now able to approve or not approve that public health officer. And so what the Indiana legislature has done is put that in a more responsive position to the people. I think they anticipated something like this meeting where people would give feedback, and that's where the law stands now, but it's state dictated.
But no, currently no, to where a health commissioner wouldn't be directly responsible to constituents that would actually vote to put them in place?
No, a county would not have the power to do that. That would be the state that would
That'd be
have to
state
do
level.
that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That was just my question.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Appreciate your input. Good
Hello,
morning.
my name is Raylene Hershey. I am a citizen of this county and of this city. I am here to just make one statement, blanket statement. Gentleman who is with the health department, thank you for bringing to our attention that Dr. Remington has been in this position for 26 years. Is there not some kind of stoppage? 4 years, 8 years, but a frickin' 26 years? People, get over it. Let and listen to your people out here that you, Marcia, you, Carrie, you, Bob, you, Brad, you, county attorney, that work for us. I have never gotten into politics before, but by golly, this is a face you are not going to not see again. I will stand with these gentlemen that have stood here. I will stand with her. I will stand against your reinstating of Dr. Remington. You need to look and be outside the box. And I am, right now, I am ashamed that I'm a resident here. You need to stand up for what's right for these children. You need to listen to every one of these parents. I am a parent, I'm a wife, and I am a grandmother. don't anyone mess with this Nana Bear. Done.
I'm sorry, Jackie Bradley, and I'm out of here. All I can say
I'm
is
sorry, what's the last name? Bradley?
Bradley, yes.
Bradley, okay.
You saw what happened in Virginia. This is where we are. Virginia's a very much blue state, but it's not anymore. People are tired. We need term limits in Congress. We need term limits everywhere. When someone is in office for that long, they have too much power. And it's time to put term limits on everything. We're done. We're not doing this anymore. I have raised 6 kids, 3 mine, 3 step. Now I'm raising 4 granddaughters. My kids go to Tippy school. They don't go to Warsaw, so they don't have to go through this. But had our school also followed that, they wouldn't be in a public school. They would be at home. Not going through a public school program, through other homeschooling situations. So, yeah, like she said, mama bears, papa bears, and mammal bears have had enough. We're taking our country back. Yes, ma'am. It's God's country. Do you know that there are 47 people in Congress that have stocks in Pfizer? 2.6 million to the more expensive one is, I think it was 8.2 million in stocks. That's our Congress. There are also some that have it in Johnson & Johnson stocks. And what are they pushing? A vaccine that they don't know anything about. That they don't know what will do to us or do to our children. And it'll be over my dead body before my kids or grandkids get that jab.
I'm going to make a quick comment. You guys are acting like we're on opposite sides here, and that's not the case. It's almost like if you look at a court trial where there's somebody convicted of murder, the judge isn't, if he lets the person off saying, I agree with murder, it's okay. He's saying, I don't think he committed murder. That's I mean, and I'm not saying likening this to that, but I'm just saying that's an analogy that I can think of. So please don't think that about the Congress, about all that. Agree, we're all on the same side. And that's one thing, I'll say this now, the left is doing to us, is they're dividing us, and it's got to stop. So we've got, and I'm not saying where I've not made up my mind yet what I'm going to do. I'll be honest with you on that. But Dr. Remington, I know, is pro-life. I know he's a Christian. I know he's pro-Second Amendment. I know he's pro-Constitution. So we need to watch as a country dividing, because this is exactly what we're doing. We're playing, and I'm getting political here, and that's fine. I'm a Republican. I'm a constitutionalist. But the left wants to divide us. I was at a recent political event, and I brought this up. It was for Senator Young. And I said, it's scary. We've got vaxxers and no vaxxers. We've got maskers and no maskers. And the left's over there uniting against us. We need to get together to take our country back. We're not going to get it by shooting our own people. I've heard it said before, Christians don't want to shoot their wounded. I mean, we need to watch what we're saying, attacking people personally. We can disagree on views, but I think we need to come together or we're all going to lose. We agree with you.
We're listening.
Thank you.
Teresa Martin from Silver Lake. I'm a grandmother of kids in the Warsaw system. And I'm glad that Brad made that comment because it just shows that I really don't think you heard us. You're wanting to put the blame on us that, hey, you're dividing us, blah, 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 blah. No, we are speaking to you guys.
Wait, time.
He said the
That's
left
not what I
is
said.
The
at all.
left is dividing us, but you're acting like we are causing that
No,
division.
you are
No,
you
that's
are
not what he said.
completely wrong. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
100%.
Well,
And let me rephrase that. That's not the way I should have said that. You're not understanding my heart,
okay.
okay?
But I don't care if Dr. Remington is pro-life. I don't care if he's pro-Second Amendment. I do care that he was on a hot mic. I do care that I see now in the Warsaw paper on the front page about come in and get your kids vaccinated. The health department is promoting that. I'm sorry. This is going way overboard. In 26 years, I am so glad he spoke. And I stand right with Raylene. 26 years is way too long to be in that administration. And the reason that we are speaking is because it's up to you guys to approve it. It's up to you guys, and that is why we are here. That is why we took time. I could be home. I've got a home business. I have lots of stuff I could be doing. But I'm here to stand for my future kids. I'm here to stand for my grandchildren. And if you guys don't stop this here, then yeah, are we going to look at mandates for vaccine? It's one thing that leads into another, that leads into another. The door is open, and it's time we close that door, and we close it hard and fast and say we take a stand. We're standing with those who are concerned. These are the people that are concerned. Where are they? They are the ones that are standing here when they have other work that could be done. But no, we're here like, well, we still have an open mind. I'm sorry. I stand with the one that's saying, tell us, what is your plans? What are your plans? Are you going to come back to us and say that you approved that after listening to all of this, after Jody done her excellent speech, you can come back and say, well, we decided to approve it. That goes against the people who have spent their time and they're giving up their things that they're doing today to come here and just slap us in the face again. Man, we're getting tired of being slapped in the face.
My name's Elizabeth Opel. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak to you. I'm very thankful to be a proud citizen of Warsaw in Kosciuszko County. I'm thankful that I was able to bring my children here when you all passed the constitutional sanctuary city or county, and my children were able to witness the ability and the love that you have for our freedom and for our Constitution. I'm a worldwide traveler. I travel on a consistent basis, and I've been to many different countries around the world, including Canada, and I've seen tremendous oppression concerning the COVID pandemic, which I believe the COVID is real. I believe the pandemic is made up. But I'm thankful for the opportunity that we have to talk to our leaders, because I believe the leaders are the ones that are going to make the difference for our future generations that are coming up. And I just want to thank you all so much for this chance that we're able to speak out. And I want to ask you to consider who you appoint as the healthcare director of our county, because I want to continue to be proud of Warsaw. If the Lord would have my children live here for the rest of their lives, I want them to continue to maintain freedom. And as I've seen in Canada, freedom is taken a little bit at a time. People are lulled to sleep, they don't realize it. And it comes from incompetent leaders. I'm not calling you incompetent. I'm saying that can happen if we have incompetent leaders. And therefore, I want to encourage you to be brave and strong in your job and your position, and to know we support you in your fight for freedom for us and our children.
Thank you, one and all, for your comments. We hear what you're saying. We're going to take a look at this in depth. We have been challenged to do what is best for the community. We took an oath of office when we were elected to do just that. And don't think for one second that we don't take that seriously, because I talk with these guys quite a lot and the people who work for you at the county level. And I agree with the things they do on a daily basis to make this community the best it can be made. And I think our efforts are well-meaning, and we appreciate that. The one lady made the comment about the Congress in Virginia. Then they turn right around and 13 Republicans go over to the other side to work against us. And I think we're misguided by thinking that local officials aren't doing what we feel is best. Because we take a look at this stuff hard and seriously, and we discuss it. But those are the types of things that we need to be focusing on, as well as what's best for us at the local level. Because the things that they did last week may have neutralized Virginia. I hope it hasn't. I hope we get a backbone and stand up to this type of thing. We have the capability to do it, but we have to focus on that and see that we get that done. Anything further to come for the commissioners? We'll see you back here on Tuesday, November 23rd. Thank you.
Good meeting, Bob.
Speaking to the mic, but just listening back, really do appreciate it.